Welcome to 1-to-1, the mini podcast project. I'm your host and resident voice, Anthony Cruz, and today is April 4th, 2017. And we're back again for another session. How y'all doing? I hope you're doing fine. I have to say that I'm liking the taste of my foot right about now. It's delicious. It's fantastic. Yeah, I kind of look like an asshole now. Last mini podcast project, the last session I did, I had talked about cultural appropriation, whitewashing, and all this stuff. And I went in and I spoke about, a couple of movies and stuff like that. And one of them I mentioned was a movie. One of them I talked big about was Ghost in the Shell, because that was the most up to date movie about how people were losing their shit because they were whitewashing the role. And I sat here and I said, well, that can't be right, because if you watch the original movie, they make no mention of her, of the main character's ethnicity, and she just goes by the name Major. She had no real discernible real name. And now we go watch this fucking movie. If I would have been smart and waited, I wouldn't be coming back here saying sorry. And you know what kills me about this shit is that not only did they whitewash this fucking movie, but they added bleach to make it extra white. I mean, it was just like unapologetically. And I don't like using those words, the whitewashing or cultural appropriation. Either it's offensive, it's racist, it's insensitive. But these names that we give it to specifically say that you're taking a role that was meant for one kind of person and giving it to a completely different kind of person. And like I said, I sat here and defended this shit, saying like, no, it's not like that. And here it is, I'm defending the fact that you got a big budget movie, you spend a lot of money, and you want somebody who brings asses to seats. And that argument, without anything else, actually makes a lot of sense. But I go watch this movie over the weekend, and I'm like, what the fuck? I mean, like, what is, like, when I say they whitewash, and I'm gonna have to spoil some shit here, I'm gonna have to spoil it, and I apologize. And now, take it, I've only maybe watched the first movie, like this, maybe the second movie. They have maybe like 3 or 4 movies, and they had a series. I think I watched like an episode or 2 of that. I didn't really follow the original series of Ghost in the Shell, but I go see Ghost in the Shell, and we won't get into the technical aspect of it. But we'll talk about the most offensive part of this movie, which is the fact that they they reveal that the body that she has is not her body. Not in the traditional sense, that her mind was taken from a girl that died. And she has these new memories now. So it's a living brain in a synthetic body or cybernetic body. That's the world that they live in, which would have been fine if she looked like what she did before she became a robot or a cyborg. But instead, she was a Japanese girl who died, and they took the brain and they put it into a white girl's body, basically Scarlett Johansson's body. That right there is like everything they've been saying up until the movie's release had been true, and you unapologetically did that. Like, you knew from the get go. Now, if you watch the original show or the original movie, at the end of the movie, the body gets destroyed, and they don't have a replacement body, so she gets a new body of a little girl. If they would have went that route where her new body is a Japanese body, knowing that who she is now, she wants to return to her roots. No. They kept her in Scarlett Johansson's body, and just like, fuck whatever whatever morals they have or whatnot. And that's not the only one that they whitewashed in the movie, because I guess the antagonist, the person that they're going up against, is also a cyborg, and he had the same thing happen to him. He was a Japanese boy or man who died, and his brain got placed into a synthetic body that resembles a Caucasian person. They did it once, but they did it twice. And I'm sitting here eating shit. Thank God only like 3 people listen to my goddamn podcast, because you know what? I would have had a lot to answer for that one. I sat here and defended this movie. On both the technical aspects of when you put a movie together, you want the best possible actors and actresses, and it's to be politically correct, it's all actors. Actresses got moved away from the language. So you want the best possible actors, both male and female. And you want to bring the best people to direct it. You want to be the best people to do the special effects. You spend a lot of money, so you want to bring recognizable faces that brings people to the theater and invests in the movie. That's understandably so. And when you're dealing with a product like this, where it's Japanese, is based on a Japanese anime, and the characters themselves may or may not be Japanese, and you put all the lead roles in by Caucasian people, you better make sure that you know what you're doing as far as how you're putting this together, so that you don't offend anybody. But what they did was completely offensive. I mean, I don't blame anybody for being upset about this film. So, that being said, the fact that it was offensive is already strike one. But then strike two was like, this film was cut in a way that anybody who's a fan of the show they're not gonna like it. Basically, I've been a fan of the movie. There's people who are fans of the show and the manga. They're not gonna like it because it's, I don't know. They try to do fan service, but I don't know, man. The scenes that they got right was what you saw in the commercial, and that's it. Even the main theme song, which sets the tone for the entire movie, is omitted and played in the credits when people are leaving. Like, I don't know. Like they totally, for me, they botched this whole damn movie up. I don't see myself watching it past my initial viewing at the theater. When it comes to home video, I may not even purchase it. I think it's so messed up to have something you love and they screw it up. It was like the movie was edited by somebody who had ADD. It was like, I'm gonna take part of the beginning and put it in the end. I'm gonna take the credits and I'm gonna take the song, put it in the credits, and I'm gonna put her disappearing in the first few seconds of the movie, at the tail end of the movie. Yeah, it's just all over the place, man. It's all over the place, and I give him credit for nailing the look of several characters. Even Scarlett Johansson as the Major looks like the Major in the cartoon. They nailed the look of her down, from the suit, the bodysuit, the whole 9 yards. Looks like her. Of course, they omitted the nipples, which kind of sucks because, you want to see nipples on a robot, of course. But the movie's PG-13, so they axed the nipples. And then what you have, what's the dude's name? Her partner in the movie, Bokotu or something to that effect. Nailed it. He looks like the damn character in the anime. Acts like him. I didn't think they would be able to pull it off, but they did. He looks awesome. And her commander, they got this Japanese guy. I gotta get the name of it, but they picked him down to a T. He was awesome. There were some things about this movie, like, the look of it was pretty good as far as, like, the set pieces, the set piece of like when you see in the commercial when he hits the guy and goes spinning, from that scene they pulled from the anime. It looks amazing. And then you have the city that they're in. They did a good job of recreating that futuristic Tokyo with the holograms and the cybernetic, and it's really crazy. It's like cybernetics gone out of control. Some of the stuff really has a very amazing artistic look to it, and you can't deny how good it looks. But at the same token, it's stuff you've seen before, been reminiscent before, so it doesn't have as much as an impact as it would have been if this movie would have led other movies. Kind of like the way the anime inspired The Matrix. The original movie inspired The Matrix and other movies to follow. Movies that you probably all well know. This movie should have been that, where it should have like done some new things to inspire other films, future films. But it didn't do that. It played it safe, and its impact was very little as far as the artistic approach. But anybody who followed the anime can appreciate that. Anybody who even remotely enjoys special effects can appreciate this movie. And that's about as much takeaway as I got when I left the theater. Because beyond that, by the time the credits rolled on, I'm shaking my head. I'm like, this is some bullshit. I gotta sit here and eat shit because I defended a movie that fucking unapologetically whitewashed the fucking film. Anyway, that's my fucking rant about that shit. I got nothing to say about that. What else is going on? Hey man, Walking Dead. We're done for the season. How about that? I don't know how many tuned in for that. Seemed like a lot, but it definitely took a dip in ratings. Even I have to admit that I wasn't as impressed with this season finale as I was with previous seasons. Previous seasons left you thirsty. Like, by the time the episode ended, you're like, oh shit, I gotta wait till October. I gotta wait all these damn months just to find out what happened last season, when you trying to find out who was gonna die. Into the introduction of this season, when Glenn and Abraham caught it, you were dying. We were all thirsty, man. You had conspiracy theorists from here to the corners of the earth, to the gates of Mordor, trying to figure out who caught it. And that's how you got to get your show. And while this season ended on an explosive note, it kind of been building up to this retaliation of the people of Alexandria, the Hilltop, the Kingdom going after Negan and his crew. It came together nicely at the end, but the whole episode was kind of like just kind of a letdown, man. They had some moments, but I think they dragged it out a little too far. I mean, it was very focused on Sasha, because prior to this episode, she went after Negan by herself. And I think they focused a little too much on her. And they had this... it was a touching scene between her and Abraham, but it kept coming back and forth to it. And that was kind of annoying, because where you could have got some really good story development leading up to a climactic finish, they let it go way too long with this back and forth stuff. And they could have just done that scene by itself, and we would all have been fine with it. And you would have had more time to give some really memorable moments in the season finale. But it all comes together at the end. There's a big fight. Shiva, King Ezekiel's tiger, saves the fucking day, man. Comes out of nowhere and mauls the shit out of one of Negan's dudes. That was an exciting moment. And then, just seeing how the Hilltop and the Kingdom came at just the right moment to rescue, Rick and the other people of Alexandria. It was just, it was amazing. And those scumbags, the fucking scavengers, them double-crossing sons of bitches, they gotta catch it hard, man. I'm telling you. Yo, bring them suckers down. Go to that junkyard they call a home and fucking burn it to the ground. Them sons of bitches. I know it's just a TV show, but I get caught up in this shit, man. And then you got Fear of the Walking Dead coming in very soon. So yeah, I mean, you go without any kind of Walking Dead for very little time. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, I mean, that's it. That's all I gotta say about that shit. That's it. Oh man, anybody who got Netflix needs to go check out one of 3 specials that are on there. If anybody who likes stand-up comedy, go check out the Dave Chappelle. He dropped 2 of them in one day. Fucking phenomenal, both of them. They're funny, it's fresh, and I said fresh like I'm in the fucking early 90s, late 80s. I don't mean fresh in that sense. Back in the day, you used to be like, yo, that's fresh. No, it's fresh, it's refreshing. But that's fucking good. And then, I think was it today or yesterday, they dropped the Louis C.K., the newest special, 2017. That was pretty awesome. And, you know what? Not so much 3, but 4 specials, because Jim Gaffigan got a new one that came out a few weeks back called Cinco. And that was pretty damn good too. So if you like stand-up comedy and stuff like that, awesome specials to watch. You can't go wrong. They're really funny. A lot of them too. Oh man, make that 5, because Jim Norton was pretty damn good too. So I don't want to throw shade on none of them, man. They're all pretty good. The only one that got cringe-inducing was the Amy Schumer one, and that was pretty bad. I didn't last the whole special. I got in a few minutes and I was like, nah, this is not for me. But I can talk about that later. But yeah, so some bullshit about that. I gotta eat my own foot. It's not some fetish shit. It's some shit that I gotta do because I was talking shit the week before and on the corner about that damn movie and defending it, and it turns out to be the most offensive whitewashing you could possibly have. So yeah, if you can dispel that and just go see a movie, you know, do a matinee, do a rental when it comes out on home video. But yeah, I mean, or maybe you don't give a shit. I'm like, normally I don't give a fuck. That's me. I don't give a damn who you do, but when I sit here and defend something, now I gotta look like an asshole for it. Yeah, so then I gotta kind of kick it to the curb. And then the fact that the movie kind of pissed me off as being a fan, that's doubly so. But you know what? For the average person who doesn't give a shit about who whitewashes what, who's not easily offended or anything like that, you can check out this film and take away some enjoyment. I mean, there is action, there is a plot. You know, it's a little light on it, but it's a plot, and that's it. And that's all I gotta say about that. So thank you for listening in on the Mini Podcast Project. I've been your host, Anthony Cruz. Remember to follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Tone and Stereo. Visit my Facebook page, Art Graphics Inc., and visit my website, artgraphicsinc.com. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. I don't know how many times I keep saying it. Help me help you to help me bring out better stuff. You know, we're working hard here. So thank you, and I'll see you next time. Peace.